So
That's true. That is
love
true.
you, E. You're the best.
Oh, thank you so much for the introduction. Okay, well, I'm up next. I'm going to introduce Jennifer Mills. Jennifer Mills is someone I've looked up to for a very long time. She's been in the business for 32 years. She's at Jamison Sotheby's. One fun fact about Jenny and I is that Jenny had the listing where I walked in to meet my husband. Jeff met me at his property and he asked me if I wanted to hang out sometime. And I said, I don't mix business and pleasure. And so that weekend, Jenny took care of the deal and tied it up. And Jeff and I had our first date that Monday.
Wow.
So thank you so much for that.
Hey, it was meant to be. You guys are like two peas in a pod. It's great. So thank you. And Andy, thanks for hosting. This is so cool. Even though I don't know how to turn this to landscape, but I'll figure that out later. I am so happy to be here. So thank you. And I'm going to introduce the one and only man who dials for dollars better than any of us, I think, is Leigh Marcus at Properties. Leigh's been in business it's Leigh Marcus. Are you a team, Leigh? I think you're a big team. Aren't you a team or is it just you? I don't know. You're a team. Yeah. But Leigh's got a good team because I know I met his wife at a panel we were on. And I know you have 3 girls? Mm-hmm. Leigh's been in business for 3 daughters. That's a lot of girls in your life, Leigh. He's been in business 15 years and he's got a great space on Roscoe Village. He's a deal maker and I'm excited to have you on this panel and conversation.
Awesome. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
So I guess I'm introducing the one and only Matt Laricy, host of Concrete Jungle, world famous blog. Okay, here's what's going on, guys. Okay.
You gotta talk with your hands more, Leigh. If you're gonna, you gotta.
Okay. So 3rd generation realtor with AmeriCorp Real Estate, right? You'll find me in the sugar-free aisle of Whole Foods around 10 p.m. at night, every night, picking out my dinner. Fun fact, he's already responded to 100 texts since this call started.
Great. True story.
True story. He has 2 kids now. Wait, 1 plus 1 on the way? Yep. And favorite bottle of wine is Ace of Spades.
Close.
Probably favorite giveaway.
Favorite giveaway, okay.
Also, who might be this number in the city right now?
No.
Are you holding up 5 fingers? I can't tell, Erin. Is that 5?
Oh!
Shots fired already.
Ooh.
I'm just going to turn off my video and just walk away.
I seriously, Leigh, I seriously was just going to say we introduced everybody in order of closed volume year to date for the year. That's seriously what I was going to say, but you beat me to it. Matt, go ahead. Introduce the one and only, my friend.
So I'm introducing Tommy Choi. He is a good friend of mine. He works for a company called Remax Next. And he's been head of that company for quite some time now. And we've kind of came up together on YPN. And this is still his first year officially selling in the company. And Tommy is a big leader in the industry, president of CAR, as well as numerous things. And he's been crushing the industry ever since he got involved with it.
Thanks, man. That's
Thank
good.
you.
So I'm gonna
change my LinkedIn right now.
So let me jump in. I'm gonna allow the partners to introduce themselves. And I mean, look, the realtors get a lot of love, and the agents compliment me with a lot of stuff that we've been doing and just the growth. But I will tell you right now, like 99% of the things that fly out of my mouth are dry and sarcastic and lighthearted. So this is the 1% I'm actually serious. Nothing what we do is possible without our partners. Joel, Paul, Tom, Patton, I mean, you guys know from the bottom of my heart, like I cannot put a quality product together. I mean, dude, I'm being fully transparent. I can't freaking support my family. I cannot do anything without the support of these individuals. It's where the just the manpower that goes into the events come from, the funding comes from, everything. We just launched an app. I don't know if you guys knew that. We launched an app like 2 months ago. It's currently free. So a lot of that funding is just things that add value to what we do. So I'm going to allow the partners to introduce themselves, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. Let's see here. I think, Tom, I think you were on first, so why don't you go, and then Joel, and then Paul, and then we'll start jamming together. So go ahead.
G'day, everyone. Chuffed to be here. Tom Patton. I own and manage Fix It People Chicago Home Improvement Service. That's it. You, Joel.
Tom, where's that accent from? It's kind of sexy.
I grew up in Evanston.
I thought it was Beverly, but
Can't match that accent, Tom, but we love having you on. So it's Joel Schaub, Vice President of Mortgage Lending for Guaranteed Rate. In my 16th year there now, in 2020, we'll do north of 500 transactions, $200 million of production, and it's about giving back. And this group right here, you really can see it. You got to spend money to make money. This group that's on here today is really exciting, and I'm glad to be here.
It's my turn. Number one, thanks for having me on here and being a part of this wonderful group. Andy, you do a great job with us all the time. My name is Paul Youkhana. I'm a practicing real estate attorney, and I've been opened up my own shop back in end of 2014 into 2015, mainly focusing on real estate because you can't do too many different things and be good at all of them. So again, I'm very thankful to be a part of this group and looking forward to this.
Well, these are the partners, Paul. We appreciate you, appreciate the support. So let's start jamming together. I'm just gonna, like I said, there's no script to this. We're just gonna talk shop about Chicago real estate. So you know, just let's open it up with any insights, anything you've experienced, or just hot topics right now that you think we want to dive into more, and that, you know, that realtors want to give value and receive value on. So I'm gonna shut. This is the part where I shut up and listen.
Should we talk about the shortage in condo inventory?
That's good. That's actually a great topic. There's nothing on the market, half month of inventory.
Is everyone staying in?
Depends where you're looking.
Is everyone staying in Chicago? Everyone's super excited. Nobody's talking about leaving or going to the suburbs. The city's just booming, especially around Lake Michigan Avenue area.
Yeah.
I think it is important though for people to understand, and especially brokers, because I think brokers are the big driving force of this. And I think it is, like, since we do have a platform to maybe use our voices to talk about where the market is, because remember in May and first part of June, at least I remember a lot of brokers were telling me they didn't want to work with buyers because it was such a hot seller's market. And we came out and inventory was really bad. And July was one of the greatest Julys we've seen in Chicago for closed transactions. And then, you know, the second round of looting hits, the election hits, and this is very politically related, what's happening. And, you know, everybody's telling you nobody's going to live here again. And I think it's important for us to talk about how, you know, we're probably about 2 months away from the market coming back like a force. I'm willing to bet that Q1 is going to go down as one of the best first quarters we've ever seen. And I think brokers are out there saying that nobody's going to live here again. And it's actually affecting the market worse. It reminds me of 2011 when the media told everybody that America wouldn't exist anymore and that nobody would ever buy again, and we would only be a rental country. And we've seen how well that worked for us, and, you know, how nobody ever bought since 2011. But I think it's important we spread the correct message of what's actually happening in the market. And these things go in waves, and during election season, markets always get really tough in big cities.
Yeah. I mean, here's, you know, to your point, Laricy, on I think there's an issue with the media stuff. Okay, there's two big things that in any shifting market I always find. Well, one, more micro, this whole like clickbait, like mass exodus of Chicago thing. You know, personally speaking, and I think all of you would agree, of all the listings I have of clients that are going to the burbs or leaving state, that was always in the cards. Right? They were going to do that within the next 3 to 5 years. This pandemic just accelerated that, and interest rates accelerated that. I've yet to meet someone that said, I'm terrified to walk my dog so I'm leaving because of all that's going on in the city, right? So that's one thing of it. And then two, the issue always with, you know, the media stuff is that, right, they have to report on closed units and median sales price. And we know that especially median sales price, right, that's a lagging indicator in our industry. The things that closed today were negotiated 45, 60 days ago. So that's always the challenging part for us as realtors, right? Because when, you know, in Cranes, it's talking about how things are flying off the market and sales are all-time high. But that's stuff that, you know, a couple months ago was things that went under contract in June, closing in August, right? And so it's two stories, two sides of the coin, basically. And that's why I think it's so important, you know, for us being, you know, the best in the city here, knowing the data, knowing the stats, and constantly communicating that. But that's my biggest frustrating thing when it comes to that stuff. And so it's funny because now, right, the data is catching up to what we were all saying 60, 90 days ago. You know, the last Monday, that article talking about the downtown condo market just bottlenecking, right? So, you know, that's always a struggle.
I find we've been really, I mean, I'm really busy. I'm still in multiples every week. We're showing, you know, our listings, and even there are some buildings that due to COVID, were not allowing us to show for X amount of time. And we were able to like hold those potential interested buyers. And then, you know, we're starting to show again. But I think we're always just switching the dialogue to make sure that people remain positive, because I think in a social dynamic as such, people are just more nervous than ever to make change. But people are still like enjoying their life. People are still having babies. People are needing more space. People are upgrading or downsizing. And I also think that this pandemic has really honed in on what's important to people, right? Because we're spending so much time at home and we're spending so much time with our families that we're really starting to understand what's the most important to us. And although we all enjoy going out and traveling and doing things, we're readjusting our priorities and finding ways in which to use home better than ever. And so I think what's happening in spite of all of it, especially with historic low rates, I'm sure Joel can speak to that. We're probably just really busy, and that the fact that people can afford just a little bit more than they used to be able to.
Yeah, and I was going to echo a few things. I agree with Laricy, and I'll tell you why. I think that the first quarter of next year is going to just be like baller. It's going to be insane, because here's the thing. If you look back 32 years later, I've been doing this. If I in my heart of hearts, and then tracking things, when there's an election year, of course I don't care if it's a repeat or if it's a new president, you're going to find the reaction to whatever the outcome is a solid month to 2 months of everybody's paralyzed. They can't believe it. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Everyone's just like COVID. There's this moment of fear. Everybody's got to get over the fear. And then when they come with grips of the new president or the existing president, everybody's going to come to grips and be like, okay, I have to deal. So everybody's going to be dealing with the new year and the new life, and they're going to capitalize on the low rates. I really think it's going to be just a baller first quarter, and I'm so excited for it. With regards to the current conditions in Chicago, I think unfortunately, Tommy, I have met those buyers who are like freaking the F out because they're afraid to walk their dog and their kids, and they're panicking. And here's the thing. We're a metropolitan city in the United States of America. New York City's, like I talked to Matt Laricy, his buddy Ryan Serhant. Look at his numbers. He's got absorption rate for 2 years or something. His market's decimated because so many people have left the city. Right. Same with San Francisco. San Francisco like lost 40% of their downtown population because of all the homeless and all the looting. So, you know, everybody's pointing at Chicago. Yeah, I mean, we're a metropolitan city. We're losing residents to suburbs. I was going to echo Tommy's point. That was inevitable with a lot of people. They just accelerated their decisions. People are still freaking out about like Chicago taxes. Once again, look at these other cities. These are the cities I'm referring to, even some of the other cities, even in Colorado and other upcoming booming cities, their taxes are just as high or higher than ours. So when people keep saying, oh, I got to get out of Chicago, the taxes, and I've got to get out of Chicago because of the looting and the crime, guess what? If you're going to go to any other metropolitan city, you're going to experience the same thing. So it's really a matter of managing people's expectations and explaining them. This too shall pass. I mean, there's crime everywhere you go. Hello, there's crime in Glen Ellen, for Pete's sakes. I had clients move to Glen Ellen, their house got ransacked. I mean, really?
Where's Glen Ellen?
Right, exactly. So, but that's what I'm saying. So I think, the whole issue with Chicago being this hotspot of everyone like, hitting the pavement, complete fallacy. It's not true. The market obviously on Michigan Avenue has struggled because of what we went through, but it's going to come back. It always does. This is just a normal market cycle. And by the way, the fact that we're even busy right now is insane because cyclically, you all know, this is a dead zone. Usually we're just feeling the benefits from the year because it's been such a wacky year and it started so late.
And I would put on top of that, a big part of our job is to be the calming force in the transaction.
Sure. Right.
To cut through all of, the noise and really, let people know what's going on. And so, if you look at the number of if there was a flight out of Chicago, we would see a huge increase in the number of new listings. There would just be so much more, not just currently for sale, yes, because there are a higher inventory in certain areas, but you would just see a huge number of new listings. But if you run the numbers of how many new listings year to date this year versus year to date last year, it's about the same. We're about 3% up versus last year. So is everyone leaving Chicago? There's only 3% more listings year to date that ever came on the market versus last year. So, it seems like, cutting through that, like Tommy said, there are people that are leaving that were planning on leaving. And so then the second part would also be how this all relates to our clients' motivation, whether, why are they moving? What's important about right now versus later, and why, if they need to sell right now or buy right now, here's what it's going to take. And, if you're going to buy right now, here's what you have to pay to do it. And so just cutting through all that with what's really going on.
I will say too, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say another really exciting thing that I've found this year, which I'm sure you can all attest to, is that people who are planning to get married and have large weddings, or people who are looking to make big shifts are, putting and allocating their dollars towards home ownership instead of those bigger weddings, which has been really fun to watch and see and be a part of. And it's just something positive to celebrate. But it's so interesting because you have these, people in these younger millennial potential buyers that may or may not have been on that scale and have, escalated that decision, who are living in these tiny spaces with large common elements, and they're just shifting the way they're living, which is a really cool thing to see.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say to that point, Erin, have you noticed a lot of first home buyers? I know personally a lot of my friends who were living in, New York, San Francisco, sort of different, bigger cities and renting, suddenly found that they had a tiny footprint, were paying exorbitant rent prices, and have moved back, like to Leigh's point and Tommy's point of acceleration, have ultimately moved back to Chicago to buy. Have you guys noticed an increase in first home buyers?
So I've been working a lot. I had a first-time home buyer I started working with in March, and I will say this for the record: I lost out on 9 multiple offers.
Wow.
Until we secured one deal, but the price point was $400,000, and it was more challenging because she was sight unseen. So she's a civil engineer for Walsh, and she was on site in Nebraska. So she was more than happy. She knows Chicago very well, but I obviously was forthcoming in the fact that we were just FaceTiming her. And there are a lot of, look, if you have 10 or 15 offers and they're cash, or they're working with G-Rate and they're on the ground here, I don't know how many sellers would be like, oh yeah, I'll take the one with sight unseen. But boy, it was a rodeo.
Yeah, Tom, our buyers team is seeing a lot of tenants graduating into home ownership this year, outside of the obviously the obvious with interest rates and whatnot. But Chicago, our home affordability index has always been plus 100. Right now it's like at 138%, which is off the charts. So it makes more sense to own than, you know, rent. And so it's interesting because it's interesting to see what that'll do to the multifamily business, especially as we see like continual new Class A luxury apartments being built downtown. You know, how that'll affect that. But I'm curious to know from you all, how are you setting yourselves up and your clients up for success when it comes, you know, as much as, you know, patience is needed in this market. I feel like getting under contract, you know, is like the easy part. And every deal has been like very, very like time consuming to just get out of AI. Do you all feel that way?
I think it's just about setting your client's expectations the correct way. I mean, if I work with a seller and I put them under contract, I mean, in all honesty, before we even go under contract, I say like, you know, before you accept this offer, we're probably gonna have to give like $2,500 in inspection items. And like, it's a 1-bedroom condo. Why would it be $2,500? I said, because I hate buyers in the fall and I hate sellers in the spring, right? Because buyers in the fall are cocky and sellers in the spring are cocky. It's every year. It's like the same. You know, it's like every broker right now is saying the world's ending, and that same broker will tell you in January it's the greatest market of all time. You know, so like, you know, you have to understand what people's mentality is. So if you have a seller, you set that expectation, negotiate in now, and then when they bitch and say, hey, they want $2,000, like we already decided we're giving $2,500, so it's gone. And with buyers, you try to set that the fact that like, listen, you are in the driver's seat, but you have to realize that, you know, you can't ask for $20,000 on a 1-bedroom condo, and yeah, the furnace is old, but you can't get a brand new one. I mean, if you set those expectations up front, in all honesty, like I've had no problems with you. In fact, the deals to me have been the easy part. You know, I think when shelter in place was first hit, I had heartburn, but right now I think it's the easiest thing in the world. I think the hardest thing is putting things under contract, because with buyers, to me, there's so much inventory. They want to, you know, every time they want to buy something, 15 more pop up. And with sellers, you know, I mean, I have 130 some odd listings right now. We're averaging 4 showings a day. I mean, in May, I was averaging about 80 showings a day. So to me, I track showings and progress and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that's a big, big difference. So I'm not experiencing the contract problems, but I'm experiencing the putting them under the contract problems.
I think Matt's right. You got to set those expectations. I've been seeing a lot lately where we're already clear to close in 8 to 10 days and you guys aren't out of attorney review, and setting the expectations so that the buyers know you're not going to get the world. It's not a brand new place. So if there's a few things that need to be done, that's great, but you can't go in expecting the world.
So you're saying it's my attorney's fault?
Yes.
Paul, what's going on, man?
Oh yeah, guys. I agree. It's all about expectations, because I have those conversations with the clients, and same thing with buyers. I tell them, I'm pretty specific about it, and like to point to the terms in the contract, especially with the 7.0, that if something's old, doesn't mean it's defective. It's not part of the inspection, so you can't. You know, we're not going to sit here going back and forth asking for $4,000 for a new furnace when it's 20 years old, you know, but it's still working today. You want to ask for a home warranty, we'll do that, but you know, just try to keep things moving along and be realistic about it. Once in a while, you're going to come across the clients that are just going to be unreasonable and don't care. But I try to set it out to them and tell them, listen, if you ask for too much, seller could come back and just say, I'm walking away. They have that right to do that. So putting that in their head, number one, I have to tell them that, because it'll be like the one client that it does happen to, and they'll be like, well, you never told me that they can walk away from this deal. So it's just kind of putting it all out there for them, and also trying to be that calming force and being reasonable and trying to make them understand that don't get the emotions out of this. It's not the seller's going to get one over on you or the buyer's going to get one over on you. At the end of the day, what's your goal? You want to close. You want to either sell the place or you want to buy it. Let's get to that point so that you can, be happy with it at the end of the day.
Well, I found I've had to be a general contractor of sorts, and I'm okay doing it to get the deal done. Heck,
right.
I mean, I've never met more. Luke, my assistant, and I have run like sellers like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, I got you a full price offer for 1.3 million. You're not gonna put in the smoke detectors and the carbon, and fix the window. What? Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm like, guess what? I'm not going to lose, $40,000 over $500. So, that's where I just have, as far as expectations, sometimes it's expectation with your client, but I think it's expectation now with your business model. If you want to make it happen, you got to make it happen, no matter if it's buying the light bulbs. Literally, I'm buying light bulbs for people. This is how, like, it's funny. Like Laricy was saying, these sellers sometimes, it's like, I wish I could get them to come off their number and chip in, but sometimes I have to be a partner with them and say, listen, you pay parts, I pay labor. I mean, but that's the kind of expectation that I've come to expect and also now live by to get my deals done. I mean, I got the resources, so I got to do it.
Yep.
It's interesting because you will see, like, when things come up and you kind of sometimes ask your clients, hey, when you bought the home, what happened with that? Oh yeah, I got a $10,000 credit for that. Did you ever do anything? No, but I'm not giving them anything.
Right.
They never did it. They never took care of it either. So people don't. Yeah, it's funny what people focus on, right? But just
the smallest, tiniest things though to control, right? Because I think people are having a hard time being able to control much of anything this year. So I think they're looking for funny ways to do that. That's why I like Tom, because I say, sure, we'll do everything for you. And then I call Tom and I say, Tom, are you available to do all this? And then he's available. So it works out.
Another thing to think about with people out there about like how these things can be better, and this is just more of an industry thing. I think it's the way you carry yourself. You know, I mean, with us, you know, we deal with a lot of other agents on our listings, and as you guys are all powerhouse brokers, you guys aren't in this position, but there's a lot of people out there that, you know, their clients just don't respect them. So it's hard for us. So if I represent the seller, I can't convince the buyer themselves. If I could, I feel like I could get this deal done easily. But I do think as an industry, a lot of people that are in it aren't respected by their clients. As you know, they just see him as somebody that's looking to get a paycheck. So it is harder for us to be like, yeah, a smoke detector is going to kill this deal, so we got to go pay for a smoke detector. But it's because the agents themselves don't hold themselves to like a higher authoritative figure, and as such, the clients don't respect them, and that makes the process a lot more difficult. And I think if people watching this out there can understand that, like, you are the boss. Like, you know, if you tell somebody something and they respect you, they're going to listen to you because you're the expert. And I think too many people don't, you know, handle themselves like they're experts. And if they do, we wouldn't be as in many problems as we are. And I think that's
well, but there's also jerks wherever you've gotten fired plenty of times, just like we all have.
100%. I'm not saying like 5.
In a perfect world, yeah, I only want to work with my hell yeah people are the people who actually trust me, love me, respect me. But I'm going to have the, you know, the shitty chocolates in the box of chocolates, and I'm going to throw it. I want to throw it away, but I'm halfway bitten into it. I have to deal.
And Jenny, aren't you surprised?
Going back to what Erin said about Tom Patton, also, I was wondering for Tom specifically, you're in an industry, Tom Patton, where, you know, I don't know how many people you have that are out there fixing stuff, you know, that are working for you, but it seems like a very hard thing to quality control specifically. So how do you maintain hundreds of positive reviews on Yelp when you have so many moving parts in what you do?
It's challenging, and I think 2020 has been even sort of bigger challenge for us than anything we've encountered before. You know, we had the initial sort of shelter in place and had to keep everyone home, and so we got through that. But then there was this huge amount of demand that exploded right off the bat. You know, the real estate market really kicked in. We do a lot of real estate related work. So then we had the operational challenges of trying to mobilize our employees to sort of get back out there and be able to sort of do the work. And you know, the construction industry, you know, I'm super grateful that you know, home improvement has increased as folks have sort of had more time at home and had more time to sort of do the work. But you know, keeping you know, 25 full-time employees. Hey, Scott.
Newman feels left out.
Keeping 25 full-time employees motivated and doing that, you know, quality of work where, you know, I know myself, my productivity has fallen away in moments, and I find it, you know, it's been hard to get motivated and hard to even get out of bed some days. But you know, I think we've just, you know, hung in there together, and we just got a great team around us, and we just stick together and pick each other up and push each other when we need to.
Cool. So when the Feds announced a month ago they're not going to touch rates, does that legitimately mean they're not going to touch rates?
Well, do you guys think it's important to kind of teach and educate your clients? Because so many times you're hearing these other mortgage guys and the people that aren't respected say, you better hurry up and buy because, and they'll say, because of the election or because next year rates are going up. And it's just not true. Literally, we're going to see the Fed keeps rate low all the way through 2021 and into 2022. So next year, Matt's exactly correct. The first quarter is going to be really big. We will see these rates below 3%. You can't fight the Fed. The Fed said this, and I quote, they said, we're not even thinking about raising rates, end quote. So they have to keep these rates low. My jumbo borrowers, the $1 million and $2 million borrowers, there's going to be some ebbs and flows in that market for sure. But anybody that's a buyer that's borrowing under $510,000, now's the time. Educate your borrowers. Don't sell them. Teach them. Get them ready, because there will be some opportunities when more things come on the market. They're not raising rates.
You know, speaking of the jumbo borrowers, that luxury market, that's the one thing I will say. Obviously, you all know I'm a huge advocate for the industry, and especially when it comes to private property rights and, you know, this, you know, fair tax, which I call, you know, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
It is.
You know, I'm worried about what that'll do. I mean, it was bad when this federal tax reform hit and capped our SALT deduction at 10K. With the property taxes where they are, you know, that's just something that I've been very just keeping an eye on and being vocal about, you know, why I oppose, you know, that graduated income tax too, because it'll be interesting to see what it does to that high end buyer or the high end, you know, consumer in general.
Well, it's a great commercial that they're running. So.
Oh yeah.
Do you like both sides of it, Laricy?
Absolutely not. I would vote no all day. And the problem is that people aren't educated enough to understand that the fair tax is not fair at all. There's 18 billionaires in Illinois, guys, and 6 of them have the last name Pritzker, just so you guys know. And that's a fact. And, you know, the reality is that they're trying to pass this saying only the rich are going to get hurt. And if you look at the other states where this law was passed, once all the rich left, 250 plus, they had to go after everybody else. In California, they believe somebody that's making $50,000 a year now is considered rich. So they're going to pass it off of trying to tell only rich people are going to be affected. And eventually the people voting for it are going to lose a ton of money. And it's the same thing I hear every single day, as you guys always do. I hate Chicago taxes. And I'm like, well, you're the one that keep telling me these are the greatest human beings in the world that are raising the taxes on you. So, I mean, it's a genius political play because people keep voting for the things that they hate the most, which just drives me crazy. But I think for the few people that are watching this, the fair taxes has nothing to do with the rich. It has everything to do with the government changing the laws to increase their taxes, which is going to greatly affect our businesses long-term. Short-term, the next 2 to 3 years, we won't be affected. 7 to 10 years, you better believe that it's going to make a huge, 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 huge impact on our market. And just look at other states. You know, any state that has passed this law has been tremendously impacted in a negative way.
Well, here's the thing. The fine print in this law that's buried, this is the real, I think, motive behind it, is that it'll change the state Illinois Constitution to give the power to the lawmakers to change the rate as they please moving forward.
That's what I'm saying with the $50,000.
That's an abuse of power, in my opinion.
Right.
But anyway.
It's a genius commercial, though. Like I said, it's all about marketing. And today's all we care about is the Kim Kardashians. You know, if you have Kim Kardashian to tell you something's cool, we're gonna believe in it. And you know, unfortunately, the general public's gonna look left when you should be looking right.
Dude, but Kylie makes a great lip gloss. I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah. Billionaire. It's cool.
Well, but that whole concept has actually changed our market completely. I mean, with COVID and how we all are just taking it to the next level with branding ourselves like the Kardashians, you know, posing and videos. I mean, just how I've changed the way I list a property. It's more focused on the video than anything. Isn't that amazing how that's kind of evolved and it's gone like bananas? But I mean, it's logical, but it makes sense. The branding of real estate is getting to be that commercialized too. But I think we have to do it. People are all stuck at their homes and they want to see it online.
Don't you still feel Oh, go ahead.
What?
But that's just the way the times. I mean, you think about it, like in the 80s, right? You know, you give out pencils and have billboards, and bus benches were a lot more popular because people weren't on
Billboards
their
are out?
phones and stuff like that. I'm not saying they're out. I'm just saying in general, like people had different ways.
Bus stops are out.
Right, but nowadays in the 90s, nobody had their phone in front of their face, you know? So you gotta do what you gotta
I think it's great though. I love it. I love the way everybody, but I mean, it's a very big conversation, but I love that that's what we have to use to promote ourselves and our listings. I mean, it's the new world. It's the new, what did you call it? The new what is it? The new change or something? The new
normal.
The new normal. Sorry. The new normal.
But don't you still feel like I'm still noticing that people are coming back 2 or 3 times for a physical feel and touch showing on a piece of property before they ultimately make a decision. I mean, especially on the higher end of the market.
For sure. I mean, the thing is, you know, especially what's changed everything in March now is that I feel that, you know, I was talking about this with Nate, was that the first physical showing is really the second showing now.
Totally.
Because they've consumed every digital media asset that's out there. And when they're bombarded and they're pinged a million times a day with all the 5 different apps that are on their phone telling them about price improvements and new listings, you know, if they've raised their hand and said, hey, I actually want to see this one, they're coming in. I always tell our sellers, they're coming in to see if what they've been told online was fake, right? Or not. They just want to validate if this is real. And
if the fruit is real or if it's plastic.
Right. Exactly.
But that's a good thing though. It's cut down on some showings. You're not getting, I'm not saying you don't get it all the time, but you're not getting as many people who walk in and are like, oh my God, all the bedrooms are downstairs. You know, like now they kind of know it, but it's also making the people who do come is serious. And I think the technology, I don't think anybody's ever going to not see places before they buy. Cause I don't know about you guys, all of our people, like, you know, their favorite ones a lot of times end up being their least favorite ones, the ones they didn't almost want to see, they end up buying. You know, I see that happen literally every day of the week, but I'm saying is that I do think that, like Tommy says, it is like almost like a second showing. I mean, back in the day, Mills, you were in the business, right? People would walk into the office and you hand them a book. That's what I used to do back in the day, is fill out
back in the book.
Stuff,
that's right.
You know?
Black and white book, not even color.
Matt, I feel
no, but I love seeing it. I've loved seeing all this evolve. It's been really fascinating. But even branding each agent, and even yourself, Tom, or Joel, you know, you brand yourself. It's the platform we have right now to brand yourself, I think is something that everybody needs to capitalize on, to a point where that has to be a big chunk of your marketing plan, is branding.
Yeah, the NAR data says 93% of all home purchasers start their search on their mobile device now. So you have to be relevant on where their screen attention is.
What's coming next? Is there? I feel like you guys are all on the cutting edge of technology as far as, you know, selling homes. Is there a VR angle at some point? What's the next sort of big thing technologically coming through the market?
I mean, VR is going to evolve more to where it is today. I mean, right now, most people are using Matterport or some of the other spin-offs to be able to like walk through it. But I mean, eventually we'll probably get to a point where you'll click your wrist and the hologram will come out and you'll be able to walk through it. I mean, it's probably like, you know, 20 years from now, maybe shorter, who knows? But I still think people are going to walk through the stuff. I mean,
yeah, they have to. I do think the big piece that'll continue to compound even heavier, because our industry, I think our industry and the auto industry are the ones that are lagging behind in this, is artificial intelligence. You know, when I log into my Facebook or my Netflix and you log into yours, Tom, our home screens are different, right? Because the algorithms know what we like and what they want to push and recommend.
The social dilemma.
Right.
And so that's the one thing about our industry. You go to, you know, LeighMarcus.com, and it's going to ask you how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what price point, and what neighborhood, right? The consumer is still controlling what they have to do. So I think that's where a huge opportunity is, and the data is eventually where, based on how many restaurants you check into and where your Uber says you've been going to frequently, that the AI is going to tell you, hey, this is where you spend the most time. Here's the 3-bedroom, properties that are, trending in the area, and I think that's a huge opportunity. I also think, and this is my crazy conspiracy theories. I think that there's an opportunity, you walk around and the most common thing you see outside of people with their phones in their hands is white things in their ears, right? AirPods. And I feel like there's an opportunity there where real estate can capitalize on that, whether it's guided tours based on geotagging where you are. And I walk by Laricy's sign and all of a sudden Matt's talking to me in my ear about, his listing or something. But
That's cool.
I think there's something there for that.
That's NFC tagging, which is near field communications, which is where everything is going to be going in the future, but also talking about people are going to be searching differently in the future. People aren't going to be searching by 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in this area. You're going to be searching by lifestyle, like you said. You're going to be searching by kitchen colors and upgrades. There are so many companies now, and I'm sure you guys get them all the time, that, we're beta testing different platforms from of like how people search, and people don't want to be able to, like, the predictive analytics of somebody coming on the market that's not on the market today through the tendencies of the credit card purchases with what they have in their homes is like how it's going to be messed up in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be too complicated.
I just feel like I was lied to. I was expecting a hoverboard by now. That's what Jay Fox told me. And
The Cubs did win, man, but we did not get a
a year
hoverboard.
later, but no hoverboard or flying cars yet.
Not yet.
But most, obviously very relevant to everybody here also is that in spite of how this all changes, this is still a relationship business.
Totally.
And us, maintaining those relationships, growing those relationships, doing a great job, is still, what's unless Matt Laricy can debate me on that, I think it's still, our skill set, how we take care of the client, and yes, anticipating what's coming, absolutely, but really focusing on strengthening those relationships.
I mean, it's customer service. So, I mean, I 100% agree with you. I mean, if you deliver a good product, right, people are going to be happy with it.
Yeah. And so you can fold that, what you're talking about with, predictive analytics and what might be coming into customer service and understanding what might be coming so that you can help, provide the public with what, with what they need. But I just don't see how technology, people that can grow with that are going to be able to, yes, they'll be able to do great, but I don't see that being the differentiating factor with which realtor they go with.
Well, Leigh, think about this though. There might be artificial intelligence in the future that could create a robot that sounds just like you and does all your calls for you, and then you could go out and do whatever you want. Like,
yeah, that's happening. Yeah, that's true. That's right now.
Yes,
Actually,
but
I
you
think
still
you
have
called
to.
me
it's
earlier.
funny you say that because
Called you earlier.
Lee's actually Lee's on a listing appointment right now, and I'm filling in right now.
I think you called one of my sellers canceled listings earlier. They called me on that one. I was like wondering.
That's what I said. I said this is Lee's hologram right now. So
You're a hologram. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let's for everybody else in the call, I'd love to if we can also switch over to, because we are the product that our clients are buying. We are, our service that we provide, everything we do. So how does everybody on this call keep a great mindset? How do we become, bring the most to what we do on a daily basis? For Laricy, I know he works out every single day and, 6 times a day, that type of thing. What else? What does everybody else do to make sure that they're, providing the fullest that they can?
Yeah, for me, that's a great question, Leigh. For me, it's routine. And so, my routine every day, it's funny when, new realtors, by the way, I'm a data junkie, as you all know. Right now, the Chicago Association of Realtors has the highest amount of new licensees in the past 25 years.
We must make it look really easy.
It's a gig economy, and it's all gig economy. They're using their stimulus check to get licensed. But anyhow, why I bring this up is because it's funny how, a lot of new licensees like, oh yeah, why do you want to get in this industry? And it's a lot of being your boss and freedom. But, my day-to-day is the same thing every day. It's very boring and it's very predictable. And that's what sets me up for success, especially when we've had all these curveballs thrown to us since March. And so for me, my morning routine, my goal is I have to win the day before lunchtime, right? I have to win the day before noon and get what's most important done for me. And for me, it's lead generation. It's just pounding the phones and hitting, you know, my sphere and just making sure that I'm staying relevant. So that helps me with my mindset and foundation to, okay, I got that done. Now, if I have to, you know, tag my wife out of the ring with the kids with e-learning or whatever, you know, I can, you know, do that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. Routine, quiet time, peanut butter and jelly packed lunch boxes, sometimes fruit, sometimes veggies. Then get them to school. Then I got my private time, but I play tennis. So I try to play 3 times a week, just keeping mentally and physically on point. Because I found though every day, you know, as much as I have a routine, I always get sidetracked. I've never been more sidetracked ever with all these other random things with regards to getting the deals done. But you're right. Routine, exercise, and then, so, you know, socializing as best as you can given COVID. I mean, getting on a phone call, doing the Zoom cocktail meetings. Now that it's getting colder, can't really go outside. But just catching up with friends, even not even clients, just kind of to regroup, just to keep yourself really mentally sharp.
And then from Matt, do you see a correlation for Laricy? Do you see a correlation with the agents on your team and the tighter their routine, the higher their production?
So I'm a huge routine believer like Tommy is and stuff like that. And I harp all day long on everybody on our staff that they have to have some sort of routine, and I track it. And I post their days off for public display to shame them if they don't follow the routine. But I think it's super important. And you know, a thing that even, and Mills, you kind of mentioned this though, is like sometimes you get sidetracked. To me, you know, I like to get up before everybody else, and I like to go to bed before everybody else. And what I found is that that's the only time where I can actually, like, I wake up super early to work out, and then I answer all my emails, clean my inbox before I go to bed, because that way I hated waking up feeling behind. And as I got more successful, I always felt like I was behind, and that feeling is like the worst feeling in the world. And I will tell you, although I don't sleep much, that couple hours in the morning and those couple hours at night where most people are sleeping have probably made me be a much more productive and bigger agent. And I think it's invaluable and I think anybody out there that's listening, I think if you can wake up before everybody and go to sleep after everybody else, you'll definitely become more successful.
What mistake do you see your agents making then in regards to that, in regards to
falling off routine? People do it all the time. It's very easy to say like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym at 8, and then you decide to watch Netflix, and then it's 9 o'clock and you miss it. You know, we in my team, everybody has to put everything on their calendar. So if you're getting a haircut, whatever, it's got to be on the calendar. You know, and it holds you accountable. But I think the general person out there thinks they want to do X, Y, Z, and then you get sidetracked, and then next you know, 2 hours have gone by, and you're like, where did the time go?
So what's the difference? How do people make sure that they're not skipping the gym and watching Netflix?
You need somebody. If you're not strong enough yourself to hold yourself accountable, you need somebody to hold yourself accountable for you. That's it. It's that simple.
Life coach.
Yeah.
Exercise is everything. I think it's I won't miss it. It's something that's imperative, and it's the one thing I still like really treat myself to, because
should we just all just do 10 burpees right now? Is everybody up for 10 burpees?
I'm in.
Absolutely not.
My whole team's activity count here.
Oh, nice. All right. So now, okay.
So Laricy, how many steps does your whole team do in a day? How many steps?
I mean, I don't even know. It's got to be ridiculous. But I do know that each person's around a minimum of 1,200 calories active burn today. I can do that.
Wow.
But
yeah. Erin Mandel, what's the key for you?
I think exercise is super important. Like Laricy, my whole team, we share our calendars, so we know exactly where everybody is, generally speaking, at least most of the week. And that's only to also give everybody some type of mental break away from the grind, because I think it's really important that people are able to take some space and time away for other things. So, you know, if Emily is at an appointment and she has 6 or 7 showings and Liz is on the ground and I'm negotiating something, we have to make sure that one of the 3 of us are taking some type of a break to like you know, think about something else beyond what the transaction is. Because I don't know about you guys, but these tend to get very intense very quickly, and people get heated over the funniest things, like a toilet being loosened. So we just got to like step away and make sure that we have some sanity in throughout our day, so that we can remember that that's not like the end of the world, and that we are, you know, real estate is very important, but we are not brain surgeons.
And then for Andy, has a lot of insight into, I mean, Andy, you just have a lot of insight into a lot of different realtors and how they operate. What would you say is the common thread amongst everybody that you do business with, or as to what makes people successful?
I would say, I really want to say, Leigh, I'll be asking the questions here, but I'm not going to say that. even though I kind of just did. That was too easy. You give me a layup, to stick with the whole basketball analogy. We'll just we'll roll with it, right? No, joking aside, exercise definitely. Even in fact, my ankle's been kind of sore, and I'm pretty religious. I will run. I take that back. I lied. I played soccer in high school. I jog now. Okay, let's just be honest. I will jog pretty religiously, and I'm not getting crazy. 3 to 4 miles 3 times a week. So I'll do 10 to 12 miles a week just around Logan, and it makes a difference. My ankle's been sore. I think the last time I went was for like 10 days ago, whatever that last Friday was, and I've kind of been feeling it. So definitely exercise just puts you in a great mental state, and then like Tommy said, winning the morning. So I actually owe you an apology, Tommy, because you're not lead generating right now. So that's my bad, dude.
Erase and replace.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding, but winning the morning for sure. Because when you can attack something and just throw, with my wife and I with COVID, she's on point. I'm with kids Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It's kind of like I got to fit a bunch of stuff into it. So it's like, I'm trying to run point homeschooling. She's feeding the baby. I'm putting a 3-year-old down. Like the other 2 are on call. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. So we definitely have had to adjust. But I'm with Matt. I'm not that hardcore. I don't know how many steps my wife has taken today. So I don't get that crazy. But definitely getting stuff on the calendar. For sure, and just sticking to it, because it's easy to throw it on there, but yeah, when the time comes, sometimes it's, hey, I can do this, and Netflix is Netflix. I mean, sometimes it's just an evil to everybody. It's just easy to tune out, so just staying engaged. Hopefully there were some gold nuggets in there, but that's me.
You just have to hold yourself accountable, right? And honor your commitment. I know that sounds like so jargony, but like it really is the truth, and you'll be amazed how much you can actually handle. I mean, this has been one of the biggest years of change in my whole life, personally and professionally. And then just to be able to balance it all and make sure you just have like one consistent thing happening, and that hour of exercise is just like, yes, it's just for me.
It is, but actually, everybody smile. I need to get a screenshot of this real fast. Matt, you have to smile. 1, and hold it for 3 seconds. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. Okay, beautiful. I think that actually turned out really well.
Has anyone, sorry, real quick, has anyone picked up any good books or listened to any good books in the last sort of 6 months? That have really
What? Sorry.
The magazine.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, this is a good the best issue. I just carry this around with me.
That's a good question, Tom. Also too, we have blocked this out till 10:15. I want to be I am totally fine for hanging another 10-15 minutes. Totally fine with me. But we allotted till 10:15 for this. So if you have to go and leave the group, I guess we'll allow you. But no, that's a great question, Tom. So I'm actually curious what people say on that too with the books.
So I just read, and it has nothing to do with real, actually it does. The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein talks about just how systemic racism within real estate, and Chicago is a big landscape of that, just how segregated we are. And so that was a really good book. I think it's a book that every realtor actually should be required to read, to just understand the history of redlining, blockbusting, things like that. That was very predominant in Chicago.
Right.
I'm reading the Florida State Real Estate Study Guide, because I'm taking my test.
That's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going down in November to get it done. There you go.
Oh, nice. Is that good?
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything by Tony Robbins.
Nice.
Yeah.
I read Sapiens. It doesn't have anything to do with
Oh,
business.
you read Sapiens? Sapiens?
Yeah.
Oh, Yuval.
Blue-
That's fantastic. Yes, by Yuval Noah Harari.
Incredible.
Amazing.
What's been everyone's favorite thing they've watched on Netflix since March? So we all know we've digested a lot of crazy shows.
I'm gonna go with the really easy, predictable one that was amazing. It's also catching a lot of flack from Chicago. Emily in Paris.
It's great.
I mean, Emily in Paris is so great. We blew through it right away. But do you know that Lumalnati's is actually suing the production, Lily Collins, for talking shit about Lumalnati's and the fact that it's not great, sophisticated pizza.
Wow.
Oh,
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots fired, but it
Shots
is unbelievable.
fired.
Doesn't it?
is
Laricy,
it good? Oh, I gotta
It's
see
so great. And they're only like 22, 23 minutes, I think, an episode.
it. Wow.
My wife's name is Emily. It's like she's like, I kind of got roped into it, but it's solid.
I think it's so cute, and it left you with a cliffhanger. Jeff
It
said he
did.
wanted to change his name now to
Don't spoil
Jeff in
it.
Chicago. Okay, fair enough.
Can't wait to see it.
Aaron, I'm with you. I'll put that as favorite as well. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I was a big Sex and the City fan back in the day as well. So it's kind of after that.
Ooh,
Real-
it's similar? Ooh.
Yeah,
Now it
it's
piqued my
actually-
curiosity.
It's actually Darren Star, so it's the same.
Oh,
And it's
great.
MTV Productions. You guys, you'll love it. It's so
Oh, I
fun.
gotta
It
see
really
that.
makes you just want to go to Paris. And I think there was a scene where she was drinking a Sancerre before 11 a.m. and somebody said, "Don't worry, it's a breakfast wine."
There's
It's my kind of
what,
show. Wait a minute. Hold on.
what's,
There's,
I
you
wonder what
remind
Paul-
me. You remind me a lot of a Miranda. So that makes complete.
What's yours? I'm curious what yours is.
I just watched the trial of the Chicago 7 the other day regarding the protesters back in '68 during the Democratic Convention with Tommy Unibora. Sacha Baron Cohen is in that. But I thought that was a pretty good, especially given kind of what's going on now, with protesting and the civil unrest and kind of looking back. I mean, that was in 1968 in our city of what was happening at that time as well.
Oh, no Tiger Kings, huh?
I mean,
That was like last year. It's like 2 years ago.
Was that this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I still haven't watched it.
That was in
That was
shelter.
at the beginning of the quarantine. Yeah, that's
Umbrella
I think-
Academy is good. If you guys are, Laricy would like Umbrella Academy.
I just finished season 2 of The Boys. I don't know if anyone caught that. I feel like that's also right up Laricy's avenue. That's pretty funny.
Big Butcher fan. Huge
Oh,
Butcher.
Huge. Love the swearing, love the C-bomb. Yeah.
Okay, Laricy, I have one other question. What's your favorite thing that you've prepared for dinner this year?
Ooh.
I cook every night of the week. It's a big thing I do at my household.
Incredible.
I do have to say my short ribs I made the other day.
Oh, that looked good. That looked good.
was phenomenal. And I'm just going to tell everybody this. All you have to do is get short ribs, put them into a slow cooker, and do basil, thyme, parsley, salt, pepper. Mix that up with olive oil and soy sauce. Mix it, hand mix it on top of the beef. Okay. Pour the entire beef broth in there, cover it, and just walk away for 10 hours. It's
No
that
wine?
simple.
You don't
That's-
add wine.
I don't add
Wow.
wine. I
Wow.
threw an onion in there, chopped up, but that's it. It's super, super simple to make.
Yum.
That sounds delish.
Yeah, it
And I'm
does.
telling you, 10 minutes of prep time for 2 minutes of extremely fun eating time because you will eat it as quick as you can. So that is
Oh,
All right,
how
we're going to
long do you cook
Laricy's
that for?
tonight. We're coming over, all of us, your place. That's perfect,
Yeah.
man. That looks good.
Yum.
All right, I gotta go, folks. I love you all. Honored to be a part of this.
Same here.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
bet.
Good times.
Thanks, Andy.
Hey guys,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
guys.
We'll
Thank
send
you.
the link
Hey, guys.
out. If you're interested in doing another
Great
one
group.
down the road, let us know, just to kind of shuffle the deck a little bit. So appreciate everybody's time. Go make some money. Peace.
Okay, thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good to see you, Paul. Good to see
Yeah,
you,
man.
everybody.
See you
Nice
guys.
job, Andy. Good work, buddy. This was fun.
Hey, we're
It was
still
good,
live,
man.
so we can hang and chat for a little bit.
Yeah.
You tell me. I got a hard stop at like 10:25, but I
Okay.
mean, what would you? I mean, what can we do better? Or
Give one or two topics up front, which is just, it gets you got it going, which is good. But I always think sometimes it'll give somebody something to come in with, and these always go fine, but
yeah.
maybe it's literally saying what this next, because you've done 23 of them where it's been pretty flowing, right? You didn't really give any topics up front, right?
Realtors are never at a loss for words. So
yeah. And so to keep people tuning in, I know it's for, agents love to see their name like they got chosen, right? Like they want to be part of it, which is big. And to get other people to know about you and the sponsorship opportunities, I think you maybe brand the next one as like looking forward to 2021 or something where there's instead of the number. So it's number 24 or 25, but give it a topic.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And we can do that. No, I like it. Or just once we get the agents on there, say, hey, what do you want? What do you want the theme of this to be? And then we kind of, hey, it's Jam Session 24. We're going to talk about, 5 tips to make 2021 successful or whatever. That makes sense.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the way this one is set up, but you've done half a dozen of them one way. And if you can actually give a little bit of direction, it might actually get traction where people would tune in advance and like watch it. Like I did the live stream, and the other thing that you should do is as soon as you go live, you should have everybody ready to go. Because right now, I don't know if we're done. Yeah, you got to end the Facebook Live, by the way.
I told you. I said we're still live. I don't know.
Well, here we are. So those are some of the other topics, but here we go.
We're jamming, dude.
It, and I followed it live as well. So taking it, sharing it, and making it look for everyone that's on it, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, and for me too, I put that in the email to prep people. Just say, hey, if you want to share it to your feed, feel free. But like I say, not everybody reads every single word of those emails. So
yeah, like we're busy or something, right?
Yeah, I know. I love it, dude. Well, we're gonna catch up soon, man. I'll cut the. Let me see here. How do I? Yeah, no, we can do this. We'll catch up later, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for the support, my friend.
Yeah, of course. You're the best.
Peace.
Bye.